with the Oscars this year, I didn't watch all of it, but from what I gathered and from what I saw, most people enjoyed the Oscars this year. They were short. The monologues were pretty good. Jimmy Kimmel gets a lot of hate. He got a lot of hate for the Robert Downey Jr. joke. To me, there was just a lot of people who can't take a joke. Similar to a lot of the celebs there. Listen, man, like Robert Downey Jr. went on David Letterman shortly after his drug issues, and they talked about it and they laughed about it in some cases. You have to have some sense of humor about that. I understand what Robert Downey Jr. went back then was truly terrible, and addiction is a terrible thing. But he is an incredible actor, and he's the highest he's ever been in his career at this point. And it's good for him. And Jimmy Kimmel's joke was not tasteless. I mean, these celebrities should be able to laugh at themselves. And I think Downey took it fine. I mean, people were really upset, though, with Kimmel. Like, how could you joke about that? It's just like, I mean, people joke about stuff like that all the time. I thought it was completely fine. I thought Kimmel was pretty decent. The John Cena thing, a lot of people were really upset about that, too. Because, to me, it was just stupid. It's just like, who cares? But just a couple, I just want to react to the awards. So Oppenheimer swept, basically. It's exactly what I was expecting. And I'm just going to go through each category and go through each win and react to it. But let's just say, was not shocked at all that Oppenheimer was getting so much love. All right, performance by an actor in a leading role. This was won by Cillian Murphy. This was not a shocker. To me, he had only one candidate, really, that maybe could have won. And it was Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers. Paul Giamatti's in The Holdovers was a brilliant performance, and he probably would have won the Oscar in any other year. Oppenheimer, though, considering it was the biggest movie that wasn't Barbie, and Christopher Nolan and the cast and Cillian Murphy was just so perfect as him. And it just seemed like, and listen, Cillian Murphy, it is a brilliant performance. It was very difficult. The thing is that Cillian Murphy's kind of doing, he is a real person to base himself off of. Paul Giamatti's kind of, I think, playing an exaggerated version of himself, but created a new character that I really liked. And The Holdovers is still a brilliant movie, and it got some recognition. Not enough, I think, but just some recognition that I really applauded and liked. Performance by an actor in a supporting role. This was won by Robert Downey Jr. That's where you heard the jokes and all this stuff. But listen, Robert Downey Jr. deserved this. He got his first Oscar, and I am so happy for him. And Mark Ruffalo was great in Poor Things. Ryan Gosling in Barbie. Sterling K. Brown, American Fiction. De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, was very, very good. Very different role than he's used to playing. Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, to me was incredible. It was a mix of this charm and interesting role that he's never played before. And I really liked it. But he also added some of those Downey charms to it, and I loved it. Performance by an actress in a leading role. Everybody, this was the biggest shocker of the night, easily. Everyone thought Lily Gladstone was going to win. And rightfully so. Emma Stone won, and she deserves it. Don't get me wrong, Lily Gladstone is good. But I will say, the reaction to Lily Gladstone's performance in Killers of the Flower Moon was a little much for me. Not saying it wasn't good or anything, but people acted like it sometimes was the best performance since sliced bread. And it was good. It was very good, and it was necessary, and considering the role that she needed to play and the character she was playing. That's not the best female performance I saw this year. It just wasn't. Emma Stone's was better. To be honest, I didn't even like the movie. I didn't even like Maestro. I thought Carey Mulligan was great in Maestro. By far the best part of Maestro to me. Not even Bradley Cooper. And Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall. Incredible performance there. I did not see Annette Bening's performance, so I don't have a comment on that. But Lily Gladstone got a lot of praise, and good for her, great for her. I'm not bringing her down. But then someone like Leonardo DiCaprio didn't seem to get any recognition, and I thought he was amazing. thought it was incredible. And so, I'm not here to bring her down. Good for her. Good for Lily Gladstone. She got a lot of attention. She's going to get a lot of work from this, and she deserves it. She was not the best performance I saw in Killer this year in movies, and I'm just being real, just being honest. It's just that simple. And I was happy that Emma Stone was nominated because I thought she deserved it. I would have been happy too if Lily Gladstone won it, but I would have been cool with it. But I just feel like there were better performances, and Emma Stone was one of them. Performance by an actress in a supporting role. They definitely got this right. I love Emily Blunt. She is my favorite actress, but there's no question Divine Joy Randolph deserved this. And her speech, man, her Oscar speech is one of my favorite Oscar speeches. She was so great in The Holdovers, and she was so great in this speech. And I hope she gets more stuff, man. I really do. She's so great. She's so great. And just seeing her speech it reminded me a lot of Ki Hoi Kwan's speech last year. It was that great, and I loved it. And I was happy to I was just so happy to see that. Even though I love Emily Blunt, this was the first time she was nominated for an Oscar, which is kind of crazy. She will definitely get one. She's an amazing actress, and I'm excited for the Fall Guy that's going to come out soon. Best animated feature of the year, The Boy and the Heron one. I did not watch The Boy and the Heron. Elemental was nominated. I also did not see it, but that was, I think, shocking for some people. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I think a lot of people thought was going to win this. But I mean, there's nothing. I still haven't seen it, but there's nothing wrong losing to Hayao Miyazaki's film. There's just nothing. There's just nothing wrong with that. Just another thing too that was interesting. Barbie was nominated for 8 awards, and it really felt like the Academy was really pissed off at the backlash that they received from Barbie not being nominated for even more awards. If Barbie was nominated for 10 awards, that's kind of crazy. It ain't that good, people. I mean, listen, Barbie wasn't for me personally, but I acknowledge that, it was well told and was well made, but 10 awards. If you're assuming that it gets nominated for best director and best actress. Margot Robbie's good, right? Greta Gerwig did a good job. The other people nominated were better. In fact, Alexander Payne not getting nominated for director was more of a miss, in my opinion, or Greta Lee being snubbed for, I believe her name is Greta Lee, right? Yeah. Greta Lee being snubbed for Past Lives, I thought was a bigger Oscar snub than Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie gave a better performance in Babylon. She had more to work with, and it was a more interesting character, more interesting performance. Very different than what she's ever done, but not everybody loved Babylon, so there you go. Although Babylon fans, we exist and we're out there. Love that movie. So that was Barbie winning for best song. Made sense. I mean, it had 2 nominees there. It had I'm Just Ken, and it had Billie Eilish's song. Okay, you can have that one for sure. You can get that one. But the people acting like Barbie was treated poorly at the Academy was pretty crazy. I mean, the fact that I got 8 nominations is pretty good. Best visual effects. It was nice to see Godzilla -1 on there. I'm not really sure why it wasn't nominated for best international film, considering the budget and how impressive that movie is. But Godzilla -1 was I wasn't expecting it to win. I thought maybe the creator was going to get this, maybe Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, but Godzilla -1 winning, that's awesome. Great to see that. Best what was it? Best adapted screenplay. This was shocking that Oppenheimer didn't win. I did not see American Fiction. I heard great things. But American Fiction, considering Oppenheimer won all these other awards and it didn't win a best adapted screenplay, it's just like, what's the thought process there? That's kind of confusing. Like, it is based off a book. So, I mean, that was fascinating to me. Best original screenplay, Anatomy of a Fall. I agreed with this. Um, because I've been seeing some plagiarism stuff with the holdovers. Because then I would say the holdovers maybe, but when I started seeing that, I was like, okay, Anatomy of a Fall was a fascinating screenplay. And considering if you watch that movie, what side you're on, what do you think happened, whatever, it was just really investing the entire time, and it was very well written court drama. So it was not shocking to see that, and I was glad it got some recognition for that. Best original score, Oppenheimer definitely was the right decision. Cinematography was Oppenheimer. Makeup and hairstyling. This is one I thought was going to go to um, Poor Things, and it did. So that was interesting. Um, Best costume design. This one I thought was going to go to Barbie for sure, and I thought it had a case big time considering the world that Greta Gerwig bring up. So I'll say like them being snubbed for this made sense, but Poor Things clearly got a lot of traction for the Academy, and they won Best Costume Design. So I don't think that was a bad choice, but I was shocked Barbie did not win that big time. Best production design. Another one thought Barbie was going to get this. It ended up being Poor Things. Very similar. Barbie sets were pretty insane. Now they probably didn't wasn't chosen because maybe Barbie just had more to go off of with their production design. There's a lot of Barbie inspired things, so they kind of didn't have to be too original with it. But it was very interesting to see that Barbie did not win those because I thought Barbie had a decent chance of winning those. Best film editing, Oppenheimer. Clearly the right decision. It's a 3-hour movie that's paced perfectly. You have to credit the editing there. Just incredible. Best sound. This was interesting. I have not seen The Zone of Interest, so I don't know. But best sound did not go to Oppenheimer and went to Zone of Interest. And Oppenheimer, it could have just been a situation where, hey, we're giving Oppenheimer way too many awards. Let's just cool it. I just think Oppenheimer was that good, personally. I know people said it was too long, and I just disagree completely. I thought it was too long the first time I watched it, but then the second time after rewatch, it was absolutely fine for me, and it got better. And that movie has set Christopher Nolan up for superstardom right now as a director. And not to say he wasn't before, but just now, definitely. Him getting his first Oscar, which was so great to see. Wes Anderson getting his first Oscar for his short film on Netflix was also nice to see, although he wasn't there for it because he's working on his new film right now. I still want to see Wes Anderson get credit for maybe a feature. Last thing I wanted to just talk about is Bradley Cooper and Maestro not receiving any recognition. I didn't care for Maestro. I struggled to see why Cooper was nominated over, say, DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon. So I wasn't, listen, I'm not happy to see Downfall. I was just kind of like, it was refreshing a little bit to see that Maestro was not really recognized. It was nominated for a bunch of things, didn't win anything. Killers of the Flower Moon didn't win anything. I thought it was going to win for Lily Gladstone. But everything else, maybe cinematography as well. But that was really it for Killers of the Flower. Killers of the Flower Moon, while very good, did not, as far as each category, did not give a better did not prove better than the other nominees. Martin Scorsese, continue making movies, man. This guy is amazing. We're gonna love these movies until he's older. So we gotta hope he can make as many of these great movies as possible. Although it is kind of crazy that Scorsese's been nominated several times for The Irishman, Silence, and Killers of the Flower Moon, and Wolf of Wall Street, and it hasn't received any recognition really from the Academy other than nominations. Wolf of Wall Street is the big one. Like, that movie's a classic. And the fact that it's not nominated is crazy. The fact that Martin Scorsese's only Oscar is The Departed is pretty nuts, too. But Another one was Goodfellas. Didn't get recognized really for that either. But that was really it. My thoughts on the Oscars. I thought it was a pretty good year for movies, man. Honestly, like I know we get too hung up on what's going on with the strikes and Disney and big blockbusters, Hollywood, and all that stuff. But as far as like some movies that came out last year, if you want to go back and look at my top 10 films of the year with my buddy Contos, we talked about there's some pretty good movies came out this year, and I'm excited for this year as well. And I still haven't seen Dune 2 yet. I'm going to see Dune 2 soon, and I'm excited to see that as well. It's one of my most anticipated. Pretty good Oscars. Like, pretty good. I mean, I think last year, Everything Everywhere All at Once being a good movie, like Oppenheimer, I don't think people are going to be looking back at this year's Oscars and be like, they got it wrong. If anything, I think they got it right. They were pretty on the money here. Good for them.